Hi, it's Double975 and welcome to Elite Dangerous on the Legacy version of the game. And today I bring you some fun PvP content I got recently, fighting a squadron I've never heard of. There are a lot of new American squadrons on Elite Dangerous on Xbox. Don't know why, but there are. And they all have been fun to tangle with and interesting in their own ways. We PPI'd the group Armor recently. They haven't paid, but we had fun messing up one of their systems and removing all systems from their control. They currently, I don't think, have a system, but they might have repaired that by now, because we did a bit of damage down there, knocked it over and then left, and we'll go back at some point and knock it over again if they repair it. But this fight was interesting. We jumped these guys in a CZ, so the last thing I was expecting was one of them to have a load of torpedoes on him, but he did, and my wingmates paid the price for that. And I ended up chasing an anaconda out that I couldn't jump after because it had jumped too far, so I ended up tangling with the corvette that had just spaffed his torpedoes. And I've got to say, these guys employ some interesting tactics. She'll go through them. They remind me of someone. They run crimes, Healy beams, fighter lag, and they use a lot of torpedoes. You know, I haven't come across this sort of stuff in a long time, not since the IED war. And yeah, absolute. I had a fun time fighting these guys, but it was properly annoying. The amount of lag was bad. I'm going to bring you a separate video about the fighter lag, because that's the only actual thing that I would complain about. The rest of it's fine. I mean, you know, they're in their home system. If they run crimes, that's their choice. I don't mind that. You know, if they had fighters out when we dropped it on the CZ, that would be an us problem. But they were deploying them in supercruise like this, which is kind of a bit cheeky, but I don't mind it. You know, I chased this guy system after system for a while, but he got lucky and de-instanced from me. Well, after quite a few interdictions and little bits of fighting, but he was just immediately low waking every time I interdicted him, and eventually he got to the station because of a de-instance and I had to reload. He could have actually fought me because I did have very little ammo left. You know, it's the one thing with this frag condor. I'd already taken on, I'd pushed an anaconda out and took its shields down and was doing hull damage to it, and then took this corvette out of action as well. So I'm proud of my little glass cannon anaconda. It did pump out a decent amount of damage. But yeah, ammo issues were a problem, and that meant that he did actually get away from me. We de-instanced, we both got to the station, but in different instances, which is, you know, that sort of stuff happens, but it's fun. I gave him a little bit of a scare chasing him around with a weight scanner for a little bit. Now, we did manage on the night to kill a couple of their anacondas. Danger from TOC dropped in and he said he killed the second anaconda, but I'm not sure because I didn't get in that instance. I buzz crashed jumping in on it. We dropped the shields on the anaconda, went up into supercruise, re-interdicted him, and when we tried to drop in the second time, I buzz crashed, and but it was purple python, so I had to reset and get back into the game. By the time I did, it was all over and the anaconda was dead. Danger says that he thinks he got the kill on it, but either way, I don't mind. He loves stealing kills from people, so you know, I don't know whether he got it or Al got it, but Al definitely got this one. After I took out its drives, I turned back to take on the corvette, who's shooting me in the butt at the moment, I think, or if that's the police, I'm not sure. But once the drives were taken out, I turned back focus, and Al was trying to kill that conda for absolutely ages. From this point on until I get rewarded the bounty, Al was trying to kill that conda because he was just pumping loads of damage to it and it wasn't doing anything. It seemed to stop taking damage, but we think that was just the lag issue. But like I say, other than the fighters, I have absolutely no problem with their tactics whatsoever. You know, if you're getting jumped regularly in a conflict zone, that's a reasonable trap to employ because people aren't going to expect you to have torpedoes. So kudos, that's actually quite clever. You know, I don't normally. Well, torpedoes are a one and done thing. I have a stealth crate that fires torpedoes. It has 10 of them. The reason I put 10 on it because effectively in any ship, once you fire those torpedoes, you've lost. If they don't work, you've lost the fight. If they work, you've probably won the fight, and you may well have secured a kill. But if they miss, you may as well get the hell out of there, because you're not going to be able to fight on from that point onwards, because you've given up so many of your hard points to a one-trick pony, the torpedoes. So I'm a believer in dedicated torpedo ships where you have like a ridiculous number of torpedoes, or a Torp 10 or something like that. If you're going to go one-trick pony, you may as well go whole hog, because this corvette, once it's fired its torpedoes, doesn't really have the firepower to compete, and was quite easy to push out even in a not very strong Fragconda. I'm just going to clip back to Al, who did eventually get that kill on that Anaconda. But yeah, eventually Al did get the kill. It took a while, but yeah, I was able to push these Anacondas and Corvettes around mostly. But then they started whipping out Healy beams, and I'm not actually opposed to people using Healy beams as long as they own the usage of them. It's the same with Primo. It's like, I don't mind the usage of any sort of cheap or low tactics as long as you own doing it. I always find it funny when the people deny doing it. That's always what made me laugh with IED, because they always denied using Primo, denied using Healy beams, denied using this, that and the other, and it's like, this video of you doing it, there's like, you've literally said you use Primo, like you've said you use crimes for home defense, so like, why are you being funny because someone's pointing that out? You know, if you're gonna do it, own it, and I have no problem with it. And this guy was very blunt with me on his use of fighters. I asked him politely if he could leave the fighter in the bay because it causes lag, and he said no, which is fair enough. I asked, he said no. It's his choice, and ultimately it's my choice if I want to fight someone who's using fighter lag. I don't have to fight him. I can just disappear off and find another fight to get involved in. This was quite funny because the guy doing the Healy beams, I can't see him. For some reason there was a guy that we kept instancing with, and for some reason I never saw his ship. He was not on radar for me. He is the person we actually killed, this another one of the ones we killed, because in a later fight he was doing the Healy beams, so of course we went after him, because that's what you do with Healy beams, you go after the person using the Healy beams. But yeah, I eventually had to jump out of this fight after we killed one Anaconda, chased out another Anaconda, and then they used Healy beams, and that meant I had to withdraw. But all in all, it was a really good fight, and I will just say, if you have a one-trick pony with the torpedoes, don't let it become too much of a crutch, because like in this fight against Old Earl Bladeborn, you can see from his prismatic shields, they're on 40-odd%, so the one-trick pony didn't work, and that means Old Earl is going to kill you, because he's got more guns than you. Oh yeah, and he's a much better PvPer than you. Anyway, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching.